Hey, what's going on, guys? So the HG Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Freedom lineup is winding down a little bit, but we still got some bangers left to take a look at. Today we're going to be checking out here the HG Lightning Buster Gundam. Really cool new version of the Buster Gundam. Really like the design of this one, so it's one I'm actually really looking forward to checking out here. So I've enjoyed the line immensely so far, just for the sheer quality of the kits. But this one's definitely got to be one of my favorites, just design-wise. So really looking forward to it. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So first things first, really cool box art here. A couple things that I really appreciate. Number one, the dual Blitz Gundam there in the background, so it's kind of like the opposite version of that box art, which is always cool when Bandai does that. And another thing too, just the artwork here, the illustration for the Lightning Buster Gundam, really cool. I love like these lens flare rings around the 4 green blasts of blaster there, cannons. But it's always great to see this level of detail in the artwork, even for just something as simple as an HG kit. And Bandai always has some really amazing artwork here for these kits, and that looks really cool. All the lighting effects and everything on there looks fantastic. But around here on the side of the box, you can see this is number 253 in the HG lineup. And then on the bottom of the box, there's a bit about the seed action system here. Once again, just kind of pointing out the excellent articulation that we're going to have with this one. And then we can see some more action shots over here, the compatibility with the Meteor unit, I guess, right there, if you have that. Sold separately, of course, and then some of the gimmicks and features of the kit, of which we're going to have a fair amount of. That's something also that's been a kind of a staple of this line. Lots of weapons and gimmicks and everything. Here you can see a little bit of what the kit is going to look like, completely unpainted there. The painted version front and back, and then a little bit about the story over here. And with that, we can open up the box and check out our contents inside. The runners we'll get to in just a moment. But first, for the instruction manual here, we've got that box art there from the front of the box, just minus the background here. And down at the bottom, illustrations of the Gundam and of the pilot there, Derka Alfman. We've also got some text here about the story and the pilot and the Gundam there in Japanese and in English. At the bottom there, a little bit more about Zaft as well. And then going around here on the back side, once again talking about some of the different weapons and features of this Gundam. Down here, more about the seed action system, the color guides here at the bottom. And if we open it up to the front couple pages here, we've got our parts list, and the beginning of the construction is going to be here in full color until we get through the arms and waist section. Then we get to the inside of the manual where all the rest of it's here is going to be in black and white. And that's pretty much it, I think, here for the instruction manual. And all right, even though some of the other kits in the line had pretty extensive sticker sheets, this one's got a really small little sticker sheet here, mostly just for the eyes, some camera bits, and a couple little color correcting stickers there. I'm guessing, I think those go on the head. And that's about it, so pretty minimal for the stickers, which is nice. Runner A here in gray is gonna be our 1/44 scale GAT frame runner here, which we're gonna use for mostly joint parts. And then runners B1 and B2 are some more parts here in gray, runner B2 being a copy of this section right there. Runners C1 and C2 are here in this kind of cream color here for some of the armor. There's a overlapping section there in the center for those parts. Runner D is going to be our parts that are going to be in dark green there, looking very nice. And lastly, runners E1 and E2, E1 being those reddish orange parts there, also a really cool color, and runner E2, these parts being in this really bright fluorescent yellow-green color here for some of the camera bits, so really nice to have those. And that's going to be it for the runners. Let's go ahead and check out the kit. Alright guys, here it is, all built up. Super solid HG kit here. Not too stiff, but I mean, it's definitely quite stiff, which would be great for posing, which means you won't have to worry about any weight issues or anything like that. It'll be really comfortable for doing some really nice dynamic poses with this kit, which the stability of the kit, plus the articulation, the range of articulation that we have with this, plus some pretty cool weapon options should make for a pretty fun kit again overall. So I think this one is going to be really nice. I'm a big fan of the Buster Gundam's design. I think it looks great here in this new form. So let's go ahead and check out the accessories here to start us off. And so yeah, all we really have for accessories, considering we only have just these two holding hands, is just a couple of option barrel pieces. That's going to be for the beam guns on the hips. So right here, you have kind of this top section of the hip unit, and the beam guns are folded back, but we can rotate these around to the front. The handle stays up like that, and you can just place the hand onto the handle. As you can see, we've got a sticker for the camera on here, but this is supposed to be the barrel which is meant to then fold out, but it doesn't actually fold. We're just going to swap this piece. Replacing that with our option piece gives us the extended barrel, and we've got 2 of those, 1 for each side. You can have 2 of those beam guns out the hip like that. And so yeah, just a simple part swap there for that barrel. Kind of a shame they didn't make that just a rotating piece, but not only would it need to rotate, it also needs to extend, as it does extend out like that. I feel like that could have been made as a separate piece. But I don't really mind too much the fact that it's a parts forming part. As for the rest of our stickers, we've got 2 green stickers here on that bit there at the hip, up here on the head. You've got a sticker for the camera, which is kind of behind that orange part, sticker for the eyes, of course, and then sticker for the orange parts on the cheeks. So those are going to be 2 stickers right there. And then on the large cannons on the back, we've got stickers for the cameras on those, on the sides as well. And that's about it. Here on the backpack, these parts will open up. And we don't have stickers for these missiles. I was kind of expecting that maybe we would have like a bunch of little red circle stickers to put on those. We don't. So some people might find that disappointing, because for people who do not mind using the stickers, I feel like having a bunch of little red stickers on there definitely would have helped these missiles to stand out a little bit more. But there, obviously, you can open up those doors for the missiles to be launching out. And then we have basically our main cannons here, which can be flipped over the shoulder or underarm. Pretty simply, the end of the barrel, you're just going to extend this out and then fold this around and in to get the full length of the cannons. And then you can either rotate that up, over the shoulder, something like that. And it doesn't have a handle on the bottom side that you're going to hold on to or anything, so it's just going to be mounted onto the backpack. Otherwise, underarm, you're just going to kind of swing it around the other way. It's on this arm piece here, which connects it to the backpack, and then it's just going to be underarm extended out like that. So pretty simple in terms of just the mechanics of that, nothing really too fancy. But if we pop that backpack off, you'll notice this is using the standard HG backpack 2-peg adapter system there. And then we can focus for a moment here on just the engineering of the kit, because like we've seen with the rest of this line, we have a lot of fantastic articulation in here, from the ab crunch here, giving us a pretty nice range forward and back for that. Also, side to side, we have a little bit of movement in the torso there. Back up to the head for a moment. The head has a double joint, which will allow it to move really far up to the top, looking up. So that's really nice. Have a nice range there. That looks good. Removing the safety flags on the V-fin will help this to look a little bit nicer there as well. The shoulders will swing out to the front there. This part here on the side can move separately, and you can bring the shoulder armor up separately, and the arms out to the side about to 90 degrees. It seems to be about the extent of that. Rotation at the top of the arm, a double joint at the elbow. That'll give you a pretty full bend there. The wrist is just on a ball joint. The front skirt armor is connected, but you can clip that apart to separate it. The side skirts will move slightly here, as they're just kind of tucked up in there underneath the beam guns. The back skirts are just fixed in place there. You'll notice up underneath the skirt armor there, we have a hard point for plugging this onto an action base. And the hip joint is of the type that will allow the hip to slide down. This hip connection is just kind of on a track that you can pop that down a little bit to give you further range of movement up to the front. With that leg extended up really high like that, our double joint at the knee is going to give us a pretty nice full knee bend there. If we kind of bend that around, there you go. There you can get a pretty nice full bend. The ankle armor is connected onto like the side of the ankle joint via a ball joint, so that you can kind of move that up and down and around a little bit. And the ankles themselves will move really far side to side. No issues there. Backwards to about here, and then forwards really far. No issues there as well. Up underneath the feet, nice full detail, so really good. No hollow gaps, that's nice to see. And then last thing to note just on the construction is that we just really don't have any seam lines to speak of on this kit. Pretty much everywhere where there is a seam line is just made up as a detail or a panel line here, like you can see there on the forearms. Here on the legs as well, we have a separate part for the front of the leg that will cover that up. On the back of the leg, the seam line is just hidden amongst the panel line and the detail line right there. On the side of the thigh, you have what kind of could be considered a seam line here between the front and back half of the thigh armor. But the way that that's designed, it's kind of made to look like a panel line. Not really sure why they didn't make that as a panel line, but you could very easily turn that into a panel line or just kind of leave it like that. I think it looks fine like so. Up here on the head, you might consider that a seam line worth trying to get rid of there on the side of the head. You can see right there. but that's kind of up to you as well. Otherwise, as I think you guys will see here as we take a look at the kit in a few different poses, we are going to have a lot of great options in terms of how you want to pose this kit, just due to that really nice articulation, which again has been a staple of this line so far. One thing that is maybe a little bit lacking in this release as compared to some of the other ones is posing options with a variety of accessories, because a lot of the other kits have been very gimmick heavy and like accessory heavy, having a lot of different stuff that you can do with them. While this one does share the same level of articulation and like construction quality and overall part separation, color separation, external detail is all like really quite good. It doesn't have quite as many like weapons and accessory gimmicks kind of built into it. You have the beam guns there on the hip that you can use, and then you have the massive cannons there on the back, which can go either underarm or up over the shoulders and kind of also connect into that shoulder armor there. I didn't show you that before, but it doesn't really have anything else, and I get that that's what this Gundam is kind of all about. It doesn't normally have a lot of other stuff, doesn't have like a shield or beam saber or any of that kind of stuff typically. That's just kind of how the Buster Gundam is, and as boring as the beam saber sometimes can be, I feel like having some sort of beam saber in with this also maybe kind of would have been a nice option as well. Even though I know this Gundam is meant for ranged combat, you know, it's always good to be prepared, right? So even though we don't have a beam saber included with this, I'm sure it's one of those things that everybody probably has a lot of extras in their spare parts bin. If you guys keep a spare parts bin, or you just probably have an extra beam saber that you can borrow from a different HG kit. And on that note, actually at the end of this video, why don't we just take a look at just a really quick and simple way to just scratch build one yourself, because they're, especially if you're not looking for anything fancy, they're very simple to scratch build. But otherwise, just final thoughts on the kit. I mean, it's a really fantastic kit. This is what I've been saying about this line all along. There's a lot to love about the line. Even if you're not like into Gundam Seed, you haven't seen the movie or anything like that, maybe the anime is not to your taste, but you can't argue that Seed always has a lot of really great Gundam designs, and the Seed Freedom series of kits has been full of a lot of really cool designs and some fantastic kits, so definitely check them out. There's still one or two more left in the line at the moment that I still need to check out, so looking forward to reviewing those in the near future. But of course, if you guys want to check out this kit and anything else from the line or anything else Gundam related, you can check out the link in the video description to USA Gundam Store. Got all sorts of great stuff there for you guys to find, so let's go ahead and add some beam sabers in here to the mix. So if we want to scratch build just a very simple beam saber, really kind of all you need for a beam saber is just the shaft part, which is going to be the handle, and then a little bit wider part, which is maybe not even necessary, but typically the part at the end where the beam is actually emitted is a bit wider. And we can do that here with just this piece of runner. Alternatively, if you have like just some plastic pipe, that could work even better. As you can see here, we can take this section of the runner, which is probably a 3 centimeter diameter, and basically cut this off and cut that off and turn this into the main shaft. And then this part here, where this is from a multicolor runner, it's not from this kit. Unfortunately, I don't have the runners anymore from this kit, but any runner that will have this multicolor injection where the colors connect, it's usually a little bit wider, so it's about 4 centimeters. That little round part right there, so we just remove this gray part, which sometimes you can just kind of snap off there. There we go. Took a little bit more effort, but yeah, you can just pop that off there, and then we can just cut off that bit there at the end, kind of shape that up, drill a hole in that, and that wider section can be the actual beam emitter end of our beam saber. And then you just grab one of your leftover beam saber effect parts. I'm just going to go with pink. I thought about going with maybe yellow or something like that, but this pink one should work fine. We're just going to have to drill a hole into there for this to fit in, and that's as easy as it is. So. And then we've essentially just got our 2 pieces here, once all cleaned up, that then we can just glue together and put a hole in that. You can make it a little bit more fancy if you want. I'm gonna take my edge scriber and make a little edge around this here too. Small little piece like this is gonna be kind of tricky. It's gonna take a minute. I know it's gonna be tough for you guys to see here, but then hopefully, because this is white plastic, I should have chosen a different color, would have made it easier to see. But I wanted to pick a color that was close to the color of the Gundam here, but you can see hopefully there's that little scribed edge around there. Now, where the beam saber is going to be plugged in, I actually decided I think we're going to use some of my God Hand spin blade here. I went ahead and marked the center point, and I'm just going to make a flat hole. Basically what this is, like a drill bit, but it just makes a flat hole rather than a drill is usually kind of like a conical shape, right? Just want to basically bore this out a little bit. That'll then look kind of like so. And again, sorry if you guys can't see that super well. Then just going to take our drill set here and put a, what I think is 1mm, I think will be right for fitting our beam effect into there. It might be 1.5. We'll start with 1mm and then we'll see if that will fit. Yep, 1.5 was right. And since this is fairly thin, I actually went ahead and made the hole actually all the way through and then drilled a hole into the top of the handle part too, so that has enough space. And then we'll simply just glue this together using our good old trusty Tamiya extra thin. That will hold it together here perfectly. And there we go. While it may not be perfect, we've got our own beam saber handle, and it was a simple scratch build. Very nice. So anyway, guys, hope that you found that helpful. I enjoy adding these kind of extra little tips and tutorial bits kind of at the end of these review videos. It's not something that I'm able to do all the time, but you know, when I am able to, I hope that you guys do appreciate having that little bit extra in there as well. But as always, guys, thank you so much for all of your support, whether you're leaving a like here on the video, making sure that you're subscribed to not miss any future videos. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Definitely check this kit out. A really cool kit. I can highly recommend it. And as always, can't wait to hear your guys' thoughts on it in the comment section below. Till next time, I hope you guys are all having a great day. See y'all later. Bye-bye.